Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother and Dad. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, Patricia, and Peter. 1976, Part 159. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. January 5th, 1976. Dearest Mother and Dad, your very good letter arrived this morning, and I was so glad to hear from you. Sorry that I didn't have a letter there for you by now, but I've been so depressed that it would have been a gloomy letter. However, the sun is shining today, but so cold, only 12 degrees this morning, and about 20 degrees now, but very still. The lake is calm and a little ice, but a blue sky and sun on a thin layer of snow, so pretty to look out. The children went back to school today, and now Patty just drove to her viola lesson and then to her Catalina's, a synchronized swimming team. She worked so hard to try out for it and so thrilled that she made it. They put on a show, sort of a ballet water show, and she'll have to practice 3 days a week, plus her viola and piano and heavy school schedule. She's a busy gal. Pamela so badly wanted to be in the Catalina's swim team and should have been. Peter just left to do his Cleveland Press newspaper route. John has an office meeting tonight, and Peter has a Boy Scout meeting. I'm very glad that the parcel was okay. They timed it right, 2 weeks. I have another one that I meant to get there for your wedding anniversary, but guess the Christmas one got there for that. So sorry that you've had more physical problems, the rash on the feet. It's so debilitating. I certainly hope you're feeling better. What caused the rash? And will that relieve your corns? We were all most disappointed about our trip, but if we ever get down to our island again, Cistern Key, we will appreciate it even more. Patty said none of the kids that went to Florida look very tanned, so doubt if it'll be too warm in Tampa in February for Bud and Joan, but then he doesn't like it hot. I invited him to bring his family to our island camping, but he wasn't interested. So glad that he had a lovely Christmas dinner for you and hope your New Year's went equally well. John drove to Sandusky, Ohio for his mother on Wednesday afternoon. Mark had come home Tuesday. He's so thin and pale from his pneumonia. We went to the 5 p.m. church service. John's mother stayed here. I really didn't enjoy it. It seemed so ritualistic, and even had a boy carry the baby Jesus to the altar, and all very chauvinistic with all boy acolytes. Maybe the 7:30 and 11 o'clock services were better, and maybe it was me, but it seemed so pagan to me. I never did get the Christmas spirit, although we went through the motions, and John's mother seemed to enjoy the Christmas dinner. I'd baked a lot of cookies and made a Christmas cake and English plum pudding and rum sauce, and cooked a 13-pound turkey and green beans and cranberry mold salad. And it was all good, but I would like your Christmas cake and pudding recipes and sauce too. It was very beautiful Christmas Eve with the lights on the snow out back and the fluffy flakes on the trees. John had good fires in the fireplace, both up in the den and in the living room, and he also went and brought Mr. Tracy, Joan's dad, here for Christmas dinner. And he was so taken with the house and just walked all around. He asked if the living room was a ballroom. It was so beautiful outdoors. Pam Williams arrived on the 1 o'clock plane the next day, and Aunt Helen on the 7 o'clock plane, and I had a chicken dinner that night. Patty made a lovely strawberry salad, and they all said it was even better than Christmas. It was more fun when Pam Williams arrived, and Helen Lacey too. So Pam and Helen were in the guest room, John's mother in Patty's room, Mark in the beach house, and Patty up on the top bunk in Peter's room. Mark had had some of his friends down in the beach house. Chip Richmond was over one night, and Mary Faulkner and Patty popped popcorn down there for them. And Mark had a couple of fires in the fireplace down there. Patty and Mary drove to New York at Peak & Peak Ski Resort. The Schreiers, you met them in the Bahamas, have an A-frame ski house, and about 20 kids went up snow skiing for a New Year's Eve party. Patty enjoyed that. John is so busy on the Peter Beebe case. We are flying to Chicago Thursday for a hearing with the Bishop of Wisconsin and the court. Allison Cheek, one of our girls, the woman priest that we represent, that had communion for which Peter is being tried, is on the cover of Time magazine as one of the Women of the Year. She's a terrific gal. We had a good letter from Bill Stringfellow, and I had a letter from the bishop. Helen said she thought it was heaven right here. We are going to California in February to La Costa Resort near San Diego. I'm so grateful that Bud is there and that you are okay. Sorry that I haven't been better to you. God bless. I love you. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. January 20th, 1976. Dearest Mother, I have been wondering how you are and hope that you are okay. I'm certainly sorry that you and Bud missed the poinsettias, but we had a tight year end. John has been working day and night to get the appeal brief ready for the Peter Beebe trial. It's been an exhausting test. I had so many things I forgot to say in my last letter that I meant to write the next day. How time flies. How do you get your old poinsettias to bloom? I have a real small one on last year's, but they have to have a strict regimen of light and dark. John and I flew to Chicago with Peter Beebe and his senior warden for a hearing for the appeal. On the court are two men learned in the law according to the church canons. John asked them to be identified, knowing one that was elected 3 years ago as a woman. After John made a point of it, the prosecutor challenged it, and they debated for an hour and 20 minutes whether she could stay on the court. They finally decided she could. So, of course, they used the generic term for men, meaning men and women, all through the Bible and laws. So we feel they should for priests, too. We went to the Cleveland Orchestra Sunday night and to a reception for the conductor afterwards at a lovely lakefront home. Our Koinonia Bible group met at the television station. One of our group is the chief engineer. It's a fantastic place, and we watched them put on the news. It was quite an experience. I've still been depressed, wondering if I'm going to stay that way or if I've always been this way. I lost all my self-confidence or self-worth or something. It's been so cold and snowy, down to 6 degrees and 8 degrees. Patty likes the snow for skiing. John and I fly to California in 10 days, so hope it'll be warmer there. Lake Erie has been frozen, so it's been pretty, and the trees covered with snow. I hope Bud and Joan enjoy Florida. Wouldn't Hawaii be closer for him and much nicer? Patty's Lorain County Youth Orchestra is playing Sunday night. She's so busy. Tutors a boy in Spanish at 7:30 a.m. She got a 750 in her math college boards out of 800, which is a good score. Certainly sorry about your mouth and your corns. I love you and sorry I haven't been better to you. God bless. Love, Ruth. La Costa, Costa del Mar Road, Carlsbad, California, 92008. February 3rd, 1976. Dearest Mother and Dad, we left Cleveland in a terrific snowstorm. Our flight hadn't left Connecticut, so we were rerouted through Chicago, where it was 6 below zero. We arrived in San Diego in a fog, and they closed the airport after our flight. The Los Angeles airport was already closed. Monday we spent in and around the swimming pool in the sun. Yesterday we saw John's uncle Fred Zook and his wife Joby. They picked us up here at La Costa Health Spa, drove us around and to their condominium with a lovely view of the golf course, and to lunch at the inn. We visited them for about 6 hours. He broke his leg last year and also had a knee operation and has had lots of pain. You visited their home out on the Chaussee in Sandusky, Ohio. Golf seems to be the way of life out here. His wife, Helen, Mark's godmother, died. There are 25 tennis courts here and a pro golf course, too. We go to Tijuana, Mexico tomorrow and La Jolla Friday. They'll have a Mexican fiesta tomorrow night. a contrast to our snow. I certainly hope that Bud and Joan enjoy their Florida trip. Dad is certainly lucky that he has you to make him a nice home, friends and family, and Bud's family, and you're mutually lucky to have each other. This unreal, artificial, sterile world makes you appreciate the real things of this world, which is people and love, and even problems. God bless. Love, Ruth. P.S. Mark arrived home the day we left, and he drove us to the airport in the severe snowstorm. We're wondering how he got back to Oberlin as his brakes let go driving to Boston, and he sold his van for $50. I hope Patty didn't have to drive him in the storm. Pam Williams cut Mark's long hair and his beard was shaved off. He had a pixie cut almost. He also had an interview with Dean Harris at the Episcopal Divinity School in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and hopes to enter divinity school in the fall to become an Episcopal priest and take some courses at Harvard. He got 3 A's and 2 B's this semester. We got the nicest note from one of Peter's teachers about Peter. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. February 13th, 1976. Dearest Mother and Dad, it was good to find your letter here when we arrived home safely Sunday night, and good to get your letter yesterday that the cheeses had arrived safely. Patty had bought them before Christmas, but I hadn't had time to mail them. They were $10, but I think I valued them at $5. The trip was okay, although we would have preferred the Bahamas at Christmas and camping to the luxury of the spa. I did go into the spa and had a sauna bath and mineral hot whirlpool bath. You go in naked, although you have a toga to wear in between. I went into the heated exercise pool and had a makeup lesson and hairstyle and cut and set and a professional makeup, all very expensive. The director had been out with the Golden Door Spa and looked in her 30s, a tall, slim redhead, but said she'd had 5 children and 6 grandchildren, divorced 16 years ago. Patty thought I should have had the massage and facial. I really didn't particularly want to do it, but did it for the experience and because I didn't dare face Patty if I didn't take advantage of the spot. It's all very luxurious, ultra, and it reminded you of the Roman Empire, and I'm sure the mafia connections are probably there. There were some movie stars there, and Rhonda Fleming was having her hair done by the fellow that did my friends the next day. It's all very artificial. Beautiful views of the golf courses and 25 tennis courts and several swimming pools. The food was wonderful. Buffets of everything for breakfast, and you could eat all you wanted. Juices, fruits, rolls, bacon, meats, eggs, hash browns, corned beef, steaks, strawberries, pineapples, crepes, pancakes, French toast. And the evening dinner was very good. We went to one dining place that had a round table for 10, Jean's birthday, and overstuffed chairs, mirrors on the ceiling and walls. I had lobster tails. The others had other things. The bill was $265. The whole trip was $1,400. 1 weekend rainy. John's Uncle Fred Zook and new wife Joby took us around, and they have a beautiful place overlooking the golf course. But I couldn't help thinking how much better it is for you and Dad and John's mother to have your own home and things and be near at least one child and grandchildren. You were right about my depression. The thought of Patty going off to college, the Peter Beebe trial, change of life, something happening to John, to this big house with its expenses, sewer and heat, each over $100 a month. The night after we got back, they had an office meeting. John's earnings have been down due to the Peter Beebe trial, and the insurance company bankruptcy that they won't get paid for was all John's work. His partners voted to cut him down on his earnings, and he is furious. There were so many years that he produced more than anyone else by far, and yet got paid less because he was a junior partner. And now he is senior, but the younger ones, our friend Joe Schneider, say they don't care about past history. He is still tops, but not by much, and some of the young men have only been in a few years, whereas John has spent his whole life building the law firm. They say they are Catholics and chauvinists and could care less about our philanthropic causes. Joe Schneider says all he cares about is money. I guess it's a sign of the times and the economy. One of John's best friends, Don, and Char McQuilkin have an even tougher situation. He took a young man into his accounting firm who spent a lot of time on an account. He left and took the accounts with him, plus all the fees for the time he spent while working for Don. Joe Schneider also wants a special fee for a malpractice case he's bringing in, but he's asking for John's help in handling it. It's really a shame because they've had a good rapport for years. I remember that I thought we should be getting a bigger share years ago when John was doing most of the work, but he would never agitate and felt things would equal out, but now he's being pushed out by these younger aggressive men. They used to be afraid of losing him. I guess I'm just so lucky to have him now. Patty forgot to leave the door open for Barbara, and she got the key stuck, and Dr. Metro broke it, and the kids had to get in the milk chute. Patty's playing solo in a concert. I love you. God bless. Ruth. P.S. Thank you so much for the article on the women in the church. I really identified with the woman writer who had lost 2 children and found help, but not enough in the organized church. I felt that her story was my story. It also made me feel not so alone in my thinking, because I know some of my more traditional friends have felt that our workings have been guided by the devil instead of the Holy Spirit as we hope, trust, and believe, and sometimes wonder. So it certainly helps to see some confirmation of your ideas. John is spending this week end working on his brief for the appeal. We'll be going to Milwaukee February 24th, so pray for us. Although we wonder, the priest, one of the judges in the appeal, whose church will have the trial in, says they'll have girl acolytes and women lay readers in his church. Over his dead body. And the bishop, the president of the appeal court, is head of a group opposed to women priests. So the deck is stacked against Peter Beebe and John, but it was also stacked against Jesus Christ. While we were gone, they had so much snow that it took Patty 3 hours to get to skiing on the bus, and they didn't get home until 1 o'clock a.m. The lake was frozen, snow drifts everywhere, and now the lake is melted and the drifts are gone. It's up to 56 degrees and in the 40s today. The days are lighter in the morning and by supper time, so spring is coming. I hope Bud and Joan have better weather in Florida than we had in California. They'd had a 6-week drought, sunny and rain the week we were there except for the first day. Do you have the address for Alf's sons? We could have seen Helene. Which of his sons' wife died? Jean? We went to Tijuana, Mexico, and it was awful. Wish I'd bought some things but couldn't stand it. Good we didn't go to Guatemala. What a tragedy. Love, Ruth. Now we have 2 letters based on the original publication, and the first is from my father, John S. Ray. Dear Editor, what a stunning picture of Pam, Mark, and Dick Morris on the front cover of SFMC number 74. Pam looked healthy and happy, and about 6 weeks later she was gone. Unbelievably sad. Another very busy time in our lives. Patricia had her successful surgery by Dr. Metro. The Peter Beebe case was moving along and certainly did not look promising. The young lions at the office were growling. I thoroughly enjoyed this issue. Thank you. Sincerely and with much love, Dad. John S. Ray, Rocky River, Ohio. And the second letter is from my mother, Ruth Smallshaw Ray, the author. Dearest Peter, Alice, and Timothy, thank you for the Paula Dreger letter. John says I should frame it. Also for SFMC 74 and 75, which I read at midnight, the night we arrived home. Great. We're enjoying the Olympics, and Canada won gold medals. So glad. I'm glad Patty and Mark phoned you also. We love you. Blessings, Mother and Dad. Ruth Smallshaw Ray, Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.